area that you're so very heavily involved in, which is the sporting arena. You've toured with a number of as I said, national sports teams. In terms of what would your advice be in terms of, especially with the Olympic Games coming up in the next few months, Jamaica and the United States still very much grappling with trying to bring the COVID-19 virus under control. What would your advice be to athletes as they prepare for the Olympics?
Yeah, that's a challenging situation. The model we have is from professional sport or some professional sport. The West Indies cricket team, NBA basketball, and so on. And they have the resources to do frequent testing. They have resources to isolate people in bubbles so they don't come in contact with the virus. Now, most sports don't have those kind of resources, and that's why it's particularly challenging. And most sports, even internationally, apart from these few sort of ultra-rich sports, are able to progress, in this COVID scenario. I don't have any particular other suggestions. I mean, yes, we'd like our athletes to be perhaps considered priority to be immunized, okay? And at least that would stop them from getting seriously ill, And if we have enough of them immunized, then again, especially for team sports, we can perhaps get into training and some attempt to get ready for the Olympics. The thing is, our time is extremely short. For Olympics, you have to train for 4 years before the next Olympics. We're not talking about 4 months. We're not in a particularly good scenario. Most other places are like us as well, but some places, do have the resources. And unfortunately, the Olympics is kind of becoming that. The rich will do well and the poor countries will struggle. There's no shortcut to that just right now.
And that's been the status quo anyhow.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah. Looking at it here in Barbados, the government has not allowed sports to restart immediately. I guess as they, get a feel for how the trend in terms of what the numbers may be in terms of infections and stuff like that. Over the next few weeks, they will probably maybe start to loosen those things. But what are some of the things that you would want to advise them in terms of, doing in terms of protocols, in terms of having sport resume across the board? Because even though we did have some sport last year, we didn't have the full gambit and range. We didn't have netball, football didn't get back off the ground and stuff like that.
Right, yeah. Our best option is actually the vaccine, and the more of our people that can be vaccinated, especially the sports people, okay, and the more we can kind of make sure that there's limited contact between sports people and spectators, that augurs best for us. Again, in a more ideal scenario, we'd have more frequent testing, day-to-day testing. We may not be able to afford that. We know for the general population, we've had challenges with testing and getting back results on time. So we will not have that. But sort of somewhere along that line, the frequent testing, extreme care in social distancing when necessary, hand sanitizing, those sorts of things. Those are best options. And I would suspect shortly the Sports Medicine Association, of which I'm a member, we would actually come up with some sort of suggestions when we reach a little further along in our pathway in dealing with this COVID, and when we sort of have this secondary wave stabilize a little more.
You keep mentioning the vaccine, and as we talk about sports, sports is largely played by young people, and and the recommendation is that people under the age of 18 not be given the vaccine. So the question is, how would you then deal with those who are let's say under 18?
Yeah, well, just right now the answer is we can't. Right as we speak, though, there are testing going on. Just today I heard on CNN that Moderna is testing from 6 months to 11 years, and the Pfizer vaccine already have on stream testing from 12 to 18 or 12 to 16. Okay, so testing for young people is certainly on the way, and we should perhaps have the results for another 2-3 months. That's certainly better than we thought would be a year ago, when we had no idea of when this thing would be, would come to an end. So yes, we're getting there. We're not there yet, and You know, we're quote unquote following the science, but when we have more data available and more safety data available, and perhaps when we can actually vaccinate these young people, that may be, you know, the way to go for them. But at this point in time, the safest option is, as the government suggests, avoid mass sporting events.